What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sundown Audio unofficial YouTube channel. My name's Derek, and today we're going to try to blow up an amplifier. Go till it blows, amplifier edition, coming at you, so don't go nowhere. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what we're about to do this amp. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have one of our smallest, but definitely our most expensive amplifier, the SFB-600D. Now, it isn't the smallest. We make one amplifier smaller than this, one monoblock, and that is our little tiny SDX 400.1. So give you a look there at a size comparison. Now, SDX is a little more hi-fi, high fidelity line, a little more hi-fi, a little better sound output. These are also partially marine rated. They are splash resistant. They come with the plugs and all that good stuff. Amp Dyno video is available for the SDX 400.1, and there's already an Amp Dyno video available for the SFB-600D here on the channel right now. Feel free to look those up. But today we're going to do a torture test, and I want to do this tiny little guy just to show you what it's capable of. Do not try this at home, though. This is a video just for fun. Now, because we're not doing a full unboxing Amp Dyno, I'm not going to bother pulling out the box, but I do want to give you a quick overview in case you haven't seen this amp before. So this is our little SFB-600D. By the name, is obviously rated 600 watts. It is a 1 ohm stable Class D amplifier, as we have listed here on the front. Do not, absolutely do not, okay, make sure y'all got that. Absolutely do not wire your SFB amplifiers below 1 ohm, regardless of what we do here on the channel today. But we are going to try and blow this amplifier up, and I'm going to see what it takes to get it to do that. We're going to try other things besides going below 1 ohm, and then eventually when we get there, that's what we're going to do. Now, quick overview. You see it's super tiny based on the other amp. Smaller there, almost smaller than my hand. But dimensions are at the mounting feet, 4 3/4 wide and 7 1/4 long. Height, we're about 2.5 inches tall. Now we've got 4 gauge on the input side, and being it's only a little 600 watt amp, 600 watts. Yeah, 4 gauge is plenty for that. You don't need big 1-aught terminals on a tiny amp like this. It would also make the case actually have to be a little bigger if we had to fit some 1-aught terminals in here. On the output side, we got 8 gauge outputs. All your basic controls, high pass, low pass, because this is a full range amplifier. Do not confuse full bridge with full range. Those are two totally different things. This is a full range amplifier. And unlike some of the other SFBs, the 600D is not a full bridge. Very, very important to note. Most people don't know that. But all your base controls, high pass, low pass, crossovers. Remember, when dealing with setting up crossovers on your SFB amplifier, the high pass also doubles as a subsonic filter when using this as a bass amp. So besides those, we have our gain and we have our level. Level is bass boost. Input and output RCAs. Output also doubles as another input, so you can use it as a pass-through. They're basically just daisy chained on the inside. So output can be a pass-through if you need to run your run your audio output to another amp, or run them both as inputs. I've already removed the back plate to keep this simple, so we can give you the gut shots. Nothing to hide here. See if I can get in good and tight. Get you a look at everything. I will also, we'll try and get in here and look at those RCAs. You can see where the RCA terminals come in. They are just internally bridged, basically. They're running parallel in there. So that's why it doesn't matter if you use this as an input or output, because they're just connected inside the amp. Now, we've got the basic overview out the way. I'm going to get this thing here connected on the bench. First thing we're going to do is get it on the Amp Dyno, obviously, so we can run some power through it. We're going to try and juice this thing up. I promise you, stay till the end. We're going to do something really, really wild. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Be right back. All right, guys, we are all hooked up and ready to go. Now, just to play it safe, we're using some 4 gauge adapters you see here. So we got the 1/0 wire. I don't want to be short on any power at all, so taking extra precautions. We use 4-gauge adapters like these, courtesy of Jim's Machine Works. Got the 8-gauge outputs. Our amplifier is on and ready to roll. Amp dyno is on. Now, just to set a baseline, I'm going to real quick run through some of the basics. So we're going to do certified mode. Just going to run through some quick, set us a baseline. Certified mode, 1 ohm. And there we have it. So about 10% overrated power, certified 1 ohm, 650 watts, 14.4 volts. Let's back that out. Let's go to an uncertified. So uncertified 1 ohm. Again, real quick, back to back to back. We're going to hit these, see what happens. And almost crept up to that 700, but we stopped just a hair short. Uncertified at 1 ohm, 698 watts, 14.34 volts. Back that out. Let's go to dynamic. Let's do a little quick dynamic. 1 ohm. Change my tracks here. Let's see what happens before we really ramp this amp up. And looks like that's it. It's going to stop us dead on. 999 watts. Dynamic 1 ohm, 14.4 volts. Now, we've got that baseline out of the way. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to kick our excess power chargers in back here. And we're going to ramp that voltage up. And let's see how high a voltage we can take this amp. So here's where we start. The do not try this at home portion of this video. Now, voltage ramping up. I'm probably going to do a quick cut and transition because I don't want to sit here waiting on the couple minutes it's going to take us. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. Our chargers have tapered off back there. So we are now sitting in the 16 volt range. And our amplifier is still on. So here, again, let me iterate. 2 things. Do not try this at home. Do not run your SFB amplifiers at 16 plus volts. And do not, absolutely never, ever do not wire them below 1 ohm. Now, do not try this at home. We're going to start the 16 volt portion of our test. So let me get our camera set up here. And we're going to go through it again, certified run. And should we do the little ones? All right, we'll run through them all real quick. 4, 2, 1. So we are sitting at 16.51 volts. Probably drop a tenth or so. The chargers aren't quite on. They're just in a low maintain mode right now. So here we go. Certified run, 4 ohm. 301 watts, that's at 16.4 volts. Back this out. Certified run at 2 ohm. And certified at 2, 505 watts, dropping down to 16.32 volts. And of course, that big 1 ohm run. Now, just to make this interesting, I'm going to reset my chargers, try and kick them back in real quick. Make sure we can keep every bit of voltage possible. So I'm going to get my track set up. Chargers are kicking in. And they're saying full. So here we go. We're going to run it anyway. And there we have it. Certified run at 1 ohm, 16.05 volts, 805 watts. Ton of power, just bumping that voltage up just a hair, a little bit. Now, let me go ahead and give you my opinion. Is it worth it trying to run high voltage? Do not do it. It's not worth the extra stress you're going to put on your amp just to get that little bit of extra power. But for the sake of today's video, we're going to go wild and crazy. So there we go. Certified runs out of the way. We'll run through our other 1 ohm runs real quick. We're going to back out. Oh, I messed up there. Hold on. Let me back up. Uncertified, mono. Straight to 1 ohm. Start dyno. And yep, charger's saying we're at full. So our voltage is going to stay low till we drop it enough to get them chargers to kick back in. But we'll see what happens otherwise. Oh, we're stuttering. Yep, so started to drop down a little bit. 15.7 volts, uncertified 1 ohm, 849 watts with a little stutter there at the end. You see it was really pushing it. So next up, let's back out of this. We're going to go to dynamic. Dynamic run, mono. Get my track set up. All right, so I did get one of the chargers to kick on, so it's ramping up some voltage back there. We'll give it a little reset. You might see the voltage increase a hair here as it's ramping up. But let's go. Dynamic run at 1 ohm, 16 volts. And there you have it. Look at that. Over double rated power. Dynamic 1 ohm, 1,265 watts at 16.05 volts. 1,265 watts. Double rated power. Now, of course, that's just a little burst hit. It's a very short burst. Now, I told you we're going to do the things that I'm telling you not to do. So let's start it. Certified run. Mono. Never, ever wire your SFB amplifier below 1 ohm. But here we go. High voltage, certified run, below 1 ohm at 0.8. If you got any predictions of what you think it's going to do, go ahead and make them now. Here we go. Track is running. And there you have it. So certified at 0.8, and that is a 0.8 resistive load, not reactive like we have it on a subwoofer. 0.8 resistive, certified run, 16.11 volts, 924 watts. So that is a certified run. That means less than 1% distortion. We're getting well over 50% rated power out of this amplifier, high voltage and low impedance. So what's up next? I guess we should go to uncertified. So let's back out of here. Uncertified. So now we're going to run into a little more distortion. We're going to push it right up to clipping. And let's drop it below that 1 ohm. 0.8. Get my track reset. So here we go. Uncertified run right up to clipping. High voltage over 16 volts and below recommended impedance of 0.8. If you have any guesses, pause it and make them quick because our track is running. Here we go. Oh, there we go. So settled right down to 15.99 volts, uncertified 0.8, 987 watts. So let me know what you think so far. We definitely abusing this amp in a way. Do not run it. I highly recommend do not do this. Do not run high voltage, low impedance. But here we are. showing it some abuse, just showing you what this amp is really capable of. So next up, let's back out of there. We're going to go to dynamic. Let me get my track set up. Oh, yep. And we're going to do dynamic 0.8. It's just like everything else. We're now high voltage, low impedance, below 1 ohm, 0.8 resistive on the amp dyno. Do this little burst hit. Track is running. What's going to happen? And so there you have it. We dropped to 16.09 volts at 0.8, 1225 watts. So power, you can see dropping below 1 ohm here. We're not getting a ton of extra power. It's doing a pretty good job at capping itself on the output. You know, some of these amps, you can overdrive them to a point, they will explode. But that's, you have to really abuse them, overdriving them. This amplifier is doing a good job at intelligently protecting the output, limiting itself, so it's just getting to a certain point and stopping. It doesn't want to do any more power than this is what's going on right now. But more than double rated power, 1225 watts, dynamic on that burst hit, 0.8 and 16 volts. So these 16 volt runs we're doing here, mid 16s, about the highest I can ramp up on the test bench, excuse me. We want to take it one step crazier. I have a really good idea that will take this one step crazier. I'm gonna have to cut this and come back in a couple minutes. Give me a second. Don't go nowhere. Let's just go ahead and go really, really wild and crazy. I told you, we're gonna blow this thing up. We're gonna see what it's gonna take to do it. Be right back. All right, guys. So we have done high voltage. We have done low impedance, below 1 ohm, which you should never, ever, ever do an SFB amp, and we still have not managed to blow this SFB-600 up. So I'm gonna turn it up a notch and go even higher voltage, higher than what the test bench will do. So we rigged up a little something. I did a similar test like this a while back and with a prototype amp, and I'm pretty sure this SFB-600 is gonna do okay as well. We're gonna see. We're gonna do everything we can to try and blow it up. Here's the idea I had. We're gonna crank it up a notch, and bam, we're going 20 volts. So we've got the DeWalt 20 volt batteries hardwired straight to the SFB-600. Yes, including a little jumper there. Now here's an interesting thing going way back to any guys that run split voltage setups or dual voltage setups. You always want the remote input of your amp to see the same voltage as the power input. So if you're running a kind of an 18 volt, 12 volt system, do not run your remotes at 12 volts and your power inputs at 18. You will get amplifier issues that way. So we're just running a quick little jumper and we have a blue light. Our amp is on. 20 volt DeWalt batteries. Now I did step down because of the jumpers, me using small terminals here. We did step down to an 8 gauge wire. I don't think we're gonna have an issue because of the length. But here we go. 20 volts versus the SFB-600 on the amp dyno, resistive load, which is way, way harder on an amp than the reactive load of a subwoofer. How well is it gonna do? What kind of power are we gonna see? All right, head unit is keyed up. Let's go through some of the normal certified run, mono. Let's jump straight to that 1 ohm test. We're not gonna go below 1 ohm yet. We're gonna jump straight to that 1 ohm test. All right, so we're resting at 19.85. Just a quick thing to note, if you don't know this about 20 volt batteries like these, I'm not gonna flip them over to show you this disclaimer on the back. So 20 volts is kind of a, I forget how they call it, like a nominal voltage or something. Anyway, they're technically more of a 18-ish volts, and on a high charge, they'll sit about 20. And I only checked a couple of the batteries. I didn't top them all off. So they might be a hair low too. But yeah, we're sitting at 19.85 volts. A lot of voltage. Let me make sure. Trying to get that glare off the screen for y'all. So here we go. High voltage, certified at 1 ohm. If you got some guesses on what kind of power we're going to see. Go ahead and make them now because I'm starting the head unit. Here we go. SFB-600 versus 20 volts. And there we go. So we dropped down to 18.14 volts, certified run 1 ohm, 1010 watts. Oh, wow. Yeah. Certified, that means very low distortion, less than 1% distortion. We're getting over 1,000 watts from this little SFB-600. We know that uncertified does a little bit better. So let's back it up. We're going to stay at 1 ohm. Let's go to that certified. We're going to take it easy little by little. So now we're a little higher voltage. So we're not going to drop impedance yet. We're going to stay at 1 ohm. We have bounced back to 19.81 volts. Uncertified. Our amp is still on and playing. Let's see what's about to happen uncertified. Here we go. Our track is running. Oh, it's struggling. Do we? Oh, that's it. Thought it was going to hit 1100. Not quite. You see it got a little glitchy there at the end, which means it started struggling to push more power. But uncertified, 1 ohm dropping to 17.29 volts there. 1,099 watts. Almost. So close to hitting that 1100 watt mark on actual usable power. So this is very, very usable power. Drives it right up to clipping. I'm going to say it again. Absolutely do not try this at home and try and run 20 volts to your SFB-600 amplifier. All right, let's back this on up. Now, if we remember on the dynamic test, I think we were capping out around 1200 and change. We've got a much, much higher voltage now. Is it going to make a difference for us? So here we go. We have bounced back up to 19.75 volts. Let me get my track adjusted. Will we break over that 1200 watt barrier that seems to be capping with the amp? Here we go. Track is starting. Give it a couple seconds. What are we going to see? And looks like that's it. It's doing a really good job of intelligently holding itself there. Dynamic power, 1 ohm, 18.36 volts, 1,279 watts. So it seems like no matter what, we get a little over double rated power out of that amp, and it's just going to hold itself back a little bit in order to not destroy itself. But we said we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep going. We have not cut the footage yet. Amp is still sitting there. We still got a blue light. I don't want to make this video super long and take all day to do it, so I'm not going to charge these DeWalt's in between runs. Let's go back to certified, and now we're going to drop below 1 ohm. So here we are, super, super high voltage, way higher than you should ever see in a car. We're resting at 19.75 volts. We're going to drop below 1 ohm on a resistive load. So let me say again, this is a resistive load. It means it just stays at exactly 0.8. We're below 1 ohm now, stays at 0.8 nonstop. Unlike a subwoofer, which is reactive, and you always have some kind of reactive load, or a rise, as people will call it. We're staying at a rock solid 0.8 impedance, certified run, starting at 19.75 volts. Our track is running. Will the amplifier handle it? We're ramping up. And there we go. We cracked that 1100 watt mark with that one. Certified 0.8, dropping to 17.58 volts, 1103 watts. And the amp is good. No issues. Everything good to go. Amp is still on and playing. Man, I tell you, if somebody blows this amp up, I want to know what you did to it. I really do. What is it going to take? Oh, let's see. Let's see if we can crank a little more out of it again. Back up. Uncertified, we always squeeze a little extra. Can we get another extra 100 watts or so? Here we go. Uncertified, right up to clipping. We're starting at 19.71. Make sure our track is set up and rolling. What are we going to see? Big power destruction. It's creeping. Oh no. And that's it. Again, it has stopped us right on the line. 1199 watts. That is uncertified at 0.8, dropping to 16.9 volts. I am truly impressed. Uncertified run, usable power at 0.8 resistive, right at 1200 watts. And this amp has not skipped a beat. We still got a blue light, no protect, nothing. Now I'm willing to bet we're gonna go to a 0.8 dynamic and we're gonna see the same 1200. It's just gonna hold itself back. So I'm thinking, for the sake of shortening this down, here we go. We're just gonna drop it. We're gonna go all out. I'm kind of getting bored because this amplifier is taking everything. Certified run, 0.5. Voltage is up there. We're starting at 19.48 volts. This is the SFB-600 versus the DeWalt 20 volt batteries. Will it handle the half ohm resistive load? This is like wiring to almost a dead short in a car. It would actually be close to like wiring to an eighth of an ohm, 0.125, and ended up at 0.5 after rise. Track is running. Will it survive? Let's see what happens. And that's it. So we have finally at a 0.5 resistive load, we finally tripped the protect circuit. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna have to put the camera down because the way I've got the remote hot wired so I can adjust it. So let me stop the video. We're gonna try and reset this amp, see if it comes out of protect or if we finally destroyed it, and that's what it took. Be right back, guys. All right, guys, that's it. Time to wrap the video up. Confirmed. We got the flashing lights of death from the SFB. Yep, after all that abuse, super high voltage, 20 volts, took a half ohm run, resisted at that, half ohm resisted, 20 volt run to finally kill this SFB-600. I'm impressed. Double rated power from what's basically a $100 amplifier. Let me know what you think in the comments. You think this amp's worth the money? Double rated power, uncertified. Yeah. But again, do not try this at home. Do not run your SFB amplifier below 1 ohm. And yeah, if you've managed to blow up an SFB-600, I want to know how. Tell me how. What did you do? Did you just straight short circuit or whatever? I got a feeling there's a lot of mistakes going on out there with guys in their cars, and they're claiming the amplifier just popped, not knowing. But trust me when I say I've done every bit of wild testing you can do to these amps here on the test bench, and unless you do something really wrong, they work pretty well. But that's it. Time to wrap this video up. Remember, guys, if you like what we're doing here on the channel, click that thumbs up button, give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out sundownunofficial.com for all your Sundown swag. And until next time, we'll see y'all then.